is here because Jim Brown, that famous running back for the Cleveland Browns, here was his quote. He says, when you need a friend, you can always count on your teammates. Dan Mahony, here's what your teammates did for you. Those are all the letters that were sent on your behalf by your teammates here, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Cater said Tim was one of the best tight ends ever. And then I made that comment to you, Dan, because your time was coming. You were a 60-minute man. You played both ways. You were captain of the 58 and 59 squad. You led your team to a 6-1-1 record. And here's a plaque, memorialize that. It has your captain, your co-captain, who has since passed away, Bill Smutko's name on there. It has your coach's name, Ernie Johnson, who's passed away. But it also has your guest here tonight, Frank Lignelli, one of your coaches, who was honored also by the 59 team. You see, here's what your teammates said about you. Your pass catching and your blocking were supreme. That was Al Aiello. He also told me that he and another guy were dating the same girlfriend, and they were on a trip up in New York. And the guy who was dating his girlfriend was the last one to come out of the Howard Johnsons. The coach was already on the bus. The rest of the team was on the bus. This guy was talking to a young lady in the side. And the coach said to Al Aiello, he said, is everybody on board? He looked over, he said, yeah, coach, let's go. on a payphone, the guy called up about 70 miles later and said, hey, you forgot me. They had to come back and get him. What a team this is. As a pass catcher, you would leap, dive, and make one-handed catches, said Bill Jackson. In one instance, they said you sacrificed 2 front teeth for the team. Is that true? 4 front teeth. All you wanted for Christmas was 4. I thought you wanted 2. He was the captain of the first winning team in 6 years, said the president of the Clarion class, Pete Molinaro. He was a rare athlete, they said, in the likes of Bronco Nagurski and George Blanda. That was Dr. Sherrall. He was the source of comfort and encouragement for us freshmen. You see, he pulled the freshmen aside after they were scrimmaging against the first team. And when the freshmen got a good lick, everybody else pushed them away. They said Dan came over and said, good job, and that gave them the incentive to play on and do well. That was Jay Williams, Dr. Jay Williams. He was a gifted player and a leader. When he ran onto the field, you knew it was time to play ball, said Carl McNamee. Danny, you're a hell of a man, and I'm sure you still are, said Tom Fernakes. In the words of Ray Bukowski, and on the phone, talking to Lee Rouse and Hook Palmer, all 3 of them said, as well as your teammates, it's about time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about time to meet Dan Mahony, Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I have so many people to thank. I got teammates. I had a surprise visit from my Long Island friends. I didn't know they were coming. My first roommate, who I hadn't seen in 50-some years, showed up without it being announced. It's just a great thrill. I can't announce everybody by name. It would take too long, but I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Let's talk about gammons. The roughest football game I ever played in was the intramural finals in basketball between the Gammons and the Sigtars. It was so rough, they had to almost cancel the game. I don't know why. Is any Sigtar here? We kind of loved you, okay? A little bit. But I appreciate the Gammons. Guess who won, guys? You know it, okay? We won the championship in intramural sports. Without going any further, okay, my family. We're an education family. My wife, Kathy, school social worker. My son, Dan, okay, is a college administrator. My daughter, Margie, is a high school psychologist. My son, Kevin, is a special ed, teacher. My 2 grandsons that are here, my grandson and my granddaughter who are here today are excellent students, right? We study hard, we play hard, right? Very good. My third granddaughter is home prepping for her first communion tomorrow. You know how important that is. You think they had trouble in England getting ready. She's having trouble right now, okay, getting ready for tomorrow. We're all going to Stella, Ohio tomorrow for the first communion for my granddaughter, Elena. I'm from Baldwin, Long Island, New York. That doesn't sound too much for people in 2011. But you got to ask, in 1956, how the hell did I get here? Well, we had a guy by the name of Ernie Johnson, our coach. He taught, lived, okay, and coached in Baldwin. I had a mother by the name of Molly, very Irish. She hated my choice of college. It was a commuter's college, Hofstra. She said, "You're not a commuter. Social would get you away all the time and you wouldn't be going to class. I'm going to send you away to college." She had no idea what away meant. In those days, it took 14 hours and 50 minutes to get from the Port Authority to Clarion. We went through every damn town in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Okay, it was all 322s, 22s, 422s, no 80, no 78. I had never seen a cow in my life. I had never seen a deer in my life. I had never seen forests in my life. My longest trip at that point, up to that point, was 1 hour. That was either to Madison Square Garden, Ebbets Field, the Polo Grounds, or Yankee Stadium. I never went further than any of those places. To say that I went through a cultural shock coming to Clarion is an understatement. How did I make it? Well, one of the things that Mr. Johnson told my mother was that we have a great faculty. And I had the pleasure of having many great teachers here, great people, as well as teachers. About 20 years ago, we got a new teacher in the high school I was teaching at by the name of Craig Gervin. He was a Duke graduate, the wrestling coach. Also, he is a Clarion High School graduate. And Craig, one day, we're eating lunch, and he says, "Who are some of the professors you had?" And I said, "Well, I had Tippin, I had Still, I had Campbell." And he's laughing. I said, "What the hell are you laughing at?" And he said, "Well, he said, you think of them as people, I think of them as buildings." Our age difference did that to us, okay? They were movements. Well, one of those people, who I thought was a person, who was a building, by the way, very disappointed, was Frank Campbell. Frank Campbell, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, was the face of Clarion. Everybody saw him every day. Frank loved everybody. One of my best buddies in Clarion became a lifelong friend with Frank. They traveled together, they vacationed together. My friend flunked freshman economics from Frank. But Frank was that type of guy that he liked you because of who you were. Not because you were an A student, a C student, or a failure. He just liked you. I could do a seminar for an hour. Rich, can I do it? I don't think Rich wants me to do it on just things I learned from Frank Campbell as a professor. He was a great, great human being. 1957, Mr. Johnson became the football coach. We had Mr. Carnahan, we had, and Mr. Wignelli. Mr. Wignelli, how many people do you know really know Mr. Wignelli? Soft, quiet? No. One of the most energetic, hard-working people I've ever met in my life. I call it a blue-collar work ethic. I tried to copy that kind of blue-collar work ethic in my years as a teacher. He never did anything without putting full energy into it. I had him as a professor, I had him as a coach, I had him as a varsity club advisor. A great human being. This Hall of Fame is a tribute, okay, to Frank Wignelli, okay, the role he played as athletic director. In 1959, we were 6-1-1. Clarion's had undefeated teams that had teams with equal record. I coached teams, I played on teams that had better equal records. But every team I played on or coached that had better records was supposed to be good going into the season. In 1959, we weren't supposed to be good. No one predicted us to be good. And that's what made the 6-1-1 record so special. I hope Grove City is having a football banquet tonight. for the 1959 team because at the end of the season, after we defeated them and they were 7-2 and they won their conference, they picked an all-opponent team, offense and defense, 20-some players. Anybody want to guess how many Clarion guys made it?
None.
0. We hurt their feelings so bad. To this day, I don't think they can recognize that they lost to Clarion. I shouldn't say that, but I'm Irish. Okay? And the number one thing in the Irish vocabulary is revenge. Okay? This is my way of getting revenge. The most proud thing I am of our 1959 team, and think about this for a second, we did not have one discipline problem on the field or off the field. I cannot say that about some of the other teams. We did not have one discipline problem on the field or off the field. So you can talk about victories and other things, but that to me, 50 years later, was more important because guys put out, gave of themselves. I was very fortunate to be co-captain with a fellow by the name of Bill Smutko. Any of you know Bill Smutko besides my teammates? Other people? Bill Smutko, he was a gamma. He was a teammate. He was co-captain. Bill Smutko was a type of leader that used this. We have the Ray Lewis's motion. You got Michael Jackson, basketball player. Jordan, okay? You get the Michaels confused. Okay, Michael Jordan. Who's a leader because he's so good? Bill Smutko was smart, intelligent. You could go to him with a situation and say, Bill, how should we handle this? And he always came up with the right solution. Bill went home to Windber, Pennsylvania, became an honored teacher, became an honored coach, and became the mayor of Windber on a couple of occasions. I'm very fortunate as I stand up here and look out at you people to have had Bill Smutko's in my life, to have Coach Lee Kelly's in my life, to have Frank Campbell's in my life, and to have so many friends, gammas, teammates here tonight. I thank you very kindly. I'm a very proud graduate of Clarion.